Page 14, I'll Be There For You. This is the theme song from the TV series Friends. Yeah. I look it over, it's 3 pages long, treble bass clef, 1 sharp in the key signature. This is in the key of G major, so do the scales and arpeggios for G major and E minor, because E minor has 1 sharp in the key signature also. And 4/4 time signature, I want to take it one hand at a time. See, these arrangements, a lot of times, they're great for the music, but they just don't fall under the fingers real well. They're not really piano music, so we have to check and see how it goes. Because it's an arrangement, with this kind of music, you can rearrange it. So if there's notes you don't want to play, you don't play them. If there's other notes you want to add, you add them. You're welcome to do that. But I encourage you to learn it the way it's written first, and then change it later if you want. So at the beginning, here in the right hand, 1, 1 and 2, and 1 and 2. Because that triplet is on the end of 1. 1 and 2, and I don't really count it. It's a triplet. I just feel it. 1, 2. 1 and 2. And then going on, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. And just, they're tied notes. Measure 7, 1 and 2. I don't know how well you're getting the rhythm. Hopefully this rhythm is okay, but if it's bothering you, take out those tides and just play all the notes. Starting at measure 5. 1 and 2. 1. Because that makes it a little straightforward. And then once you have that idea, you put the ties in. You just hang on to the note. 1. 1. So it's pretty repetitious on the rhythm. Left hand, let's see what's going on. You got 1, 2. Well, in that case, I'm not going to use thumb here. I'm going to use some other finger. That way my thumb's ready. 1, 2. Same rhythm as the right hand. 1 and 2 and 3. And if you can, at the end of measure 2, use thumb on that last note. That way you can just reach down. Makes it a little easier. You're not moving around quite so much. And again, I measure 4 at the end of that one. There's a thumb there, so I measure 5, you just come down. 1 and 2 and. So on beat 2, you get a rest while the right hand is playing. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4. This is fun. It gets a little tricky because the rhythm is not the same in both hands all the time. Let's put the hands together and see what happens. We're here. I'm taking it real slow. 1 and 2 and. Again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. Like so. Now I measure 5. 1 and 2 and. Right there. Those are together. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. In the left hand, look at measure, 6, measure 5, whatever, and measure 8. It's sort of the same rhythm. The only difference is in measure 5, I get a rest, and in measure 8, it's a dotted quarter note. So in that sense, it's the same. Measure 8, both 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Measure 14, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. 1 and 2 and, because you're playing on the ends. That makes it more fun, all right? All right, measure 21. 1 and 2 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and. You're playing on the ends. 1 and 2 and 3 and. And 3, 4 actually is good. That way you're saving the little finger for later. It's a lot of syncopation on it. Let's go down to measure 32, and the rhythm-wise, it's and then 1 and 2 and whatever. Okay, so once I have the hands sort of figured out, then I'll go back over just a few measures at a time, and I'll get rid of the hesitations. I'll keep it slow, but no hesitations. And once the hesitations are gone, I'll think about the articulation, which, of course, they don't give any, so that's wonderful. However you want to do it. Usually you're going to connect it. But you can add in some staccatos and things to separate it. You do get an accent at the beginning. Times, as far as interpreting goes, we will accent the syncopated notes. 1. So that's a. You decide. That's interpretation. Your teacher will tell you how. But a lot of times we do accent the syncopated notes. Measure 17. We'd accent that one. Accent the syncopated notes. Did I mention that? Then the dynamics, that applies to the melody. That's the right hand. Loud. The accent takes that one note up to a very loud note. Then on measure 5, it come down a little bit, and that's the melody. And the melody are the notes with the words. And I point that out because of measure 8. That first note is the only one with melody. The others should be soft. It should be clear to the listener where the melody is. You hear? You get the idea? So bring out the notes with the words and keep everything else in the background. Like in measure 16. Now, that's melody. It should be clear that that's melody, and the other part is not. Now you get, measure 21, you're very loud. That's the right hand. That's the melody. That's the chords. That's what they really want to hear. At the end, you slow down and come down a little bit. Isn't that nice? The song ends actually on measure 33. Here, measure 32. Here, that's it. It should be clear. Now, the rest of this is softer. And it's both hands here because there's no melody anymore. Yeah. Now, as far as the speed goes, you've probably heard this. It's fairly fast. The melody, how fast do you want that to go? 1. 1. However fast you want that to go, that's how fast it goes. However, it needs to be accurate, so how fast can you play the first? Can it roll? But they need to be even and controlled. It's not just a, it's just a block. It's a, if you can't do it that fast and you want to take it fast, then leave out the triplet. Just, or something. So, I'll leave that up to you, but if you can't, put in the triplets. However fast you can play it accurately, that's what you're doing. Now, of course, they've added pedal, and we need pedal on this to help us because it is rather dry and choppy, and we don't want that. But we don't want to be smearing up the melody. So what I do first is I try their suggested pedaling, and if I like it, fine, we go with it. If I don't like it, okay, I'll change it. We don't pedal the beginning too much because we don't want to smear that up. So at the beginning, you can pedal this first part. It's loud and it's accented, but lift it up on beat 2. Here. Now I'm going to try their pedaling. Let's see what it sounds like. On measure 5. idea. For the most part, it's not too bad because it goes by so fast you don't have time to hear the muck. But you could clean it up if you wanted to. Here, and measure 5. I could pedal every 2 beats. A lot of times it's telling me to, but even on those measures where it's not, I'm still pedaling every 2 beats to keep the melody cleaner. Yeah. In measure 14, it's all you just pedal it. And on measure 19, I lift up. I don't want all that. So I lift up on beat 3. So that's my impression of the pedaling throughout, pretty much. I'm just listening to the effect the pedal is having, and when it gets too mushy for me, I change the pedal or lift it up or something. I always learn a piece without pedal first, so the fingers are doing what they need to do, and that way you're not relying on the pedal so much to do stuff that you can do with the fingers. It gives you more leeway in the pedaling if your fingers can do more. Now the page turn, we got to deal with that. And yeah, there's a list of options. Whatever you do, don't mess up the rhythm because you're changing. Don't stop and turn the page and go on. Ugh. Figure out a way to turn this page without messing up the rhythm. Well, you have options. If there's some time when one hand isn't too busy, you can turn the page there. You may have to memorize a couple measures or whatever. Here we're kind of busy. What we can do, I guess, is like in the last couple measures on page 15 here. If you have to, you leave out the left hand. I guess that way you can turn the page. You can't leave out the right hand because that's melody. You got to have melody. Here. Now, turn. And while you're doing that, you're turning the page right quick. That's about the only suggestion I have because both hands are busy all the time. What do? I don't know. Ideally, you just memorize the piece or memorize page 16 at least. Be careful. They put in gotchas. Gotcha is something that'll get you if you're not careful. Like in measure 26 to 27, you get this other places. It's just easier to see here. When I go from measure 26, it's here. That D is tied. You're just changing the bottom note. You don't play them again. No, it's you hang on to it. You're just changing the harmony. And you get this a few times in places. In fact, you get it several times here. So be careful on that one.